Hi guys, it's Mrs. Mingo. Welcome back to my channel. Those of you guys who are new, hello, my name is Tracy Mingo, and this channel focuses on biblical homemaking and what the Word of God says how a godly wife should be. So I'm just going to get started with the video. I hope that you do enjoy this video. Like, subscribe, share to anyone who you think will benefit. Comment down below, and let's get started the video. Alright guys, so today's video is going to be about social media, my experience with social media. I talked about this briefly in a previous video, but I did not go into detail. I did say that I don't be on social media throughout the week, but on weekends, that's usually when I am on social media. So I do want to talk about this topic more. So I made a whole separate video to talk about social media. I feel like this is very, very important for godly wives because in today's society, so social media is not the same way it was before. So it's been a little bit more toxic. I'm gonna go into detail, but first I want to talk about my experience with social media. I was on TikTok. I'm still on Instagram and Facebook, but I'm no longer on TikTok anymore. So with TikTok, I remember when TikTok it blowed up during the pandemic. This is when everybody was quarantined. There wasn't really much to do, so everyone was on TikTok. I believe this was a kids app before. I'm not too sure, but I believe it was. And then adults took over, and all these trends and challenges started happening on TikTok where the adults started joining in and stuff. So I feel like it's no longer for the kids, but more as, well, in my opinion, it's an adult platform, because the things I was seeing on TikTok was extremely toxic when it comes to like soft porn, bad language, toxic topics, mental illnesses and things that's being glorified. So I don't think that's a kid's app anymore. In fact, I don't think any kids should be on TikTok. But I remember being on TikTok very, very frequently throughout the day. So there was times before I go to bed, I'm like, you know what? Let me go on social media. I'm just going to be on it for about a few minutes. And then next thing you know, 3 hours pass, 4 hours pass. And it's like 2 in the morning or 1 in the morning. I'm like, whoa, hold up. Like I was on TikTok for this long, and you do not realize it because it's all these short videos. You think it's nothing, but time flies. And I'm not making this video to say that you can't be on social media. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I just think that we should be disciplined on how much we're on social media and what we are feeding into our body, what we're feeding into our spirits. So I do think that it's important to be very intentional about your time on social media. Now for Facebook, I wasn't on Facebook too much. Until this day, I'm not really on Facebook too much, but on Instagram, I was on Instagram very frequently as well, scrolling through stuff on my Explore page, going through stories and things. You see people live this aesthetic lifestyle, like, wow, like I want to live like that as well and stuff. You start comparing yourself, you start comparing someone else's body to yours. You're like, wow, I need to work on this, that, and that also becomes very toxic as well, because it does happen subconsciously. And this is where you see several women throughout these days, several modern women, they say I want someone that makes this much money. You have to have this lifestyle, travel and things. And in reality, not most people live that type of lifestyle. If we are speaking statistically, most people are average, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you start to compare yourself to these other women that's living these exotic lifestyles with their husbands or so, and at the end of the day, you don't know how that person's life is outside of social media. So I think it's very toxic to compare yourself to someone else's lifestyle when it is just on social media. It's all for show. You don't even know if it's real or not. So, like I said, I don't think it's fair to compare yourself. But I remember meeting my husband. This is the time we got engaged. Next thing you know, I started looking up wedding stuff on Instagram. I'm like, wow, our wedding have to be like this, we have to have this type of food, we have to have this type of decor and stuff, like the perfect dress and things like. Those were the things I was focused on in the beginning, and my husband had to check me. He was like, hold on. He was like, hold up. These things are not what makes a wedding. If you go into the beginning of the book of Genesis, God ordained the first marriage between Adam and Eve. There was no audience. There was no crazy decor, some buffet of food. It was just between God, Adam, and Eve. So when you are making that covenant, that's what it's all about. You, your husband, and God. That is between you guys. I don't think there's nothing wrong with having wedding celebrations. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea. But I do think it's important to prioritize your marriage, to prepare for marriage, to put that first instead of being focused on all these wedding plannings, but you're not focused on the actual marriage. So it's important to put God first. And when you're putting God first, you're putting the covenant first between your husband, yourself, and God. Because God do take marriage very seriously. So it's important to prepare and put that first. But my husband had to check me on that, and wow, like I did not realize that, because it becomes this subconscious thing, and you start thinking about like, wow, I need to be like this, that, and you do not even realize it. So my husband had to check that about me. And then being married while on social media, it can make you feel like you're missing out. That never happened to me before, but I know that have happened to other married women where they would leave the marriage thinking that there's better out there because what they see on social media, what their friends say. We do live in a spiritual warfare, and I know some people think that, I can handle it, but it does happen subconsciously, and it happens when you don't even realize it. It happens when you're off guard. So it is important that you're being mindful about what you're feeding into your mind. Instagram is also a fantasy these days, and it is soft porn. You see some men that's not even dressed appropriately, and Jesus did say, don't you start from the heart, right? And we do live in a spiritual warfare. So I just look at it as a way that the devil used to attack your marriage. So yes, my husband told me to limit my screen time on Instagram because he's seen the negative side to it, and God led him to make that decision. So I'm not on Instagram like that. I used to be on it every weekend, but now I'm probably on it every other weekend. I'm barely ever on it, like hardly ever. And I don't feel the urge to be on it. Reason why is because I'm so used to not having it, and I actually like my life way better without Instagram. Not being on Instagram that much, like I do like my life way better, and I do see the difference. So I do not be on it like that. And if I am on it, it's to get some new recipes, because on my Explore page, I do have a lot of food videos as well as cats, because I do think cats are adorable, and I just follow up with my family. And if God puts it in my heart to evangelize to someone, then that's the reason why I would be on it. But no, I'm not on it like I was before. I'm on it very, very rarely. So that's how it is right now. And if I do post on Instagram, it's just me and my husband. That's all. Just me and my husband or my family. I don't post by myself trying to get other people's attention, because your attention should only be coming from your husband. So no, I do not post no single photos like, look at me, look at this. No, it's just me and my husband, because I represent my husband in everything I do, everything I post. So it's important that I'm being mindful and not leaving an opening for the devil to attack our marriage. So the question is, should a godly wife be on social media? Everyone is different. I know for me, God led my husband to make that decision for me to limit my screen time on social media. And, God sent my husband to protect me. And at first, when my husband made that decision, I was kind of sad. I'm like, man, like, I guess I have to get rid of it. But I was just obedient to what my husband, on the final decision my husband made for me to not be on social media. And so after a while, I'm like, wow, like I'm way much happier. Like, I'm way happier. I do see the difference. I did not understand it at the time, but now I do. And that's gonna happen. Your husband is gonna make a decision, and you're not gonna understand. But later on, you may understand. Like, wow, you may or may not. But that you also have to understand, like, he's being led by God, and God works in ways that's very mysterious. It may not make sense to you at the moment, but it pays off at the end, because his timing is always perfect and his decisions are always perfect. So this is all I have for you guys today. I hope that you did enjoy this video. I hope you learned some things, and hopefully we can learn something from each other. So if you have any questions or any comments, you could comment down below. Do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, share to anyone who you think would benefit. But have a blessed evening, guys. I love you, sisters. God loves you. Have a blessed day.